In the world today, people want to bring new things. One of the most atrocious places that's constantly taken advantage of is in the world of conversion. A few years ago, a couple of people came out and they called themselves rabbis, Orthodox nonetheless, and they said that according to them, not the Rambam, according to them, everyone for the last 800 years since the Rambam is wrong. Everyone is wrong. Why? According to them, the Goyim can and should keep Shabbat. Even though the Rambam says clearly, a Goy that keeps Shabbat is stealing. It's inventing a new religion. Unless he's in the process of conversion. Talk about just he's looking to stay a Goy. He's looking to stay a Noahide. But he wants to keep Shabbat like a Jew. Rambam says not allowed. But according to the rabbis of the 2000s, everybody's wrong. All the Gedolim for the last 1,000 years are wrong. Later on, one of them said, yeah, I guess, even though we wrote a book about it, and a bunch of people still think it's true, he says, no, I think maybe I was wrong. The other one became like an exercise instructor. I'm serious. He did. Became an exercise instructor. I don't know. He lost 300 pounds, so I guess he knows how to exercise. Halacha, not so much. Another guy, he himself was born not Jewish. Not Jewish. And he went to a conversion. He converted. And he decided one day that he's a rabbi. Decided that he's a rabbi because he learned a few books. And his friend happened to be a rabbi, that he made himself a rabbi probably. He said, okay, you make me a rabbi, I make you a rabbi, we're both rabbi. Okay, how do we become rabbis? Make a YouTube channel. Now, his frustration is that it's hard to convert to Judaism. Christianity, where he came from, easy to convert. You want to be a Christian? Go jump in the ocean, you're Christian. Actually, you don't even have to jump in the ocean, just pretend. Nothing. You don't have to do anything to be a Christian. You don't have to do anything for any other. Judaism, it's hard to be a Jew. Why? You have to live a life. You have to pretty much prove, not only yourself, but the people around you that you really want this. And sometimes it costs a lot of money, and a lot of time, and a lot of anguish, and this and that. Not supposed to be easy to be a Jew. Why? Just not. He didn't like this. Why? Because there's a lot of prejudice against converts, because a lot of people are stupid and don't understand the significance of converts. And unfortunately, some people are even racist against converts, which is even worse. So surely there's a lot of problems in the conversion world. Surely there's a lot of persecution against the converts. Surely anyone who persecutes the converts will get punished severely. But needless to say, it's still the way that we do it. Now you can say, he says, no, but the Shulchan Aruch says, in the third halacha, and it also says in the Gemara as well, if a convert wants to come to you, you teach him a few minor mitzvot and you convert him right away. And the only debate is whether you convert him literally that same day or after his Brit Milah. Bottom line is, it's not the same process that we are going through today, where someone has to go and learn in a course or in a shiur for an extended period of time, and by the time you get to the Bet Din, you're like a mini rabbi or rabbanit already. You're already living a frum life for at least a year or two. No, in the old days, according to Gemara, it was much, much easier. So he says it should go back to the old-fashioned way. What's written in the Shulchan Aruch, what's written in the Gemara? Why are you guys changing the Torah? Why should I go and wait for Rabbi Reuven one day to wake up and say on the right side of the bed, he says, no, today's your day of conversion. Why do I have to wait for Rabbi Reuven? Why do I have to wait for the Bet Din? I'm going to convert right away. Why? Because Shulchan Aruch says right away. Yeah, but Habibi, that Shulchan Aruch was applicable, and that way was applicable to the rabbis of the generation. Now the rabbis that came after saw that there's a lot of problems with doing it this way. Why? A lot of fake converts. A lot of people say, listen, I want to convert. Why do you want to convert? Because I want to be a Jew. No, really. Why do you want to convert? Well, because the guy that I'm going to marry, He happens to have $100 million, so I want to be a Jew because of that. What about Shabbat? Yeah, that's good too. What do you do with Shabbat? When do you eat it? No, Shabbat is a day of the week. It's a day of the week. What do you mean? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. What do you mean? What is that, like a Tuesday? No, you have to keep Shabbat. Where do you keep it, in the cage? No, Shabbat today. It's Saturday, you fool. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll keep that. Where do we put it? How many times a year do you have to do it? People come to the Beit Din, they don't know nothing. They still sometimes pray to Yoshke, still pray to some Buddha, but they convert them. So the Rabbanim said, listen, no more of this. We have to make sure that someone can vouch for you. You go through a process based on the knowledge of the rabbi that's sponsoring you to make sure that he can vouch for you. That you're not some faker, you're not marrying because of marriage, you're not marrying because of money, you're not marrying because of it's your new way for the day, but maybe tomorrow you'll change your way. So we have to make sure. There's enough problems already. Why? Because the problem is, if you're a woman, you convert, and in reality you're a faker, all of your kids are green. Now your kids may or may not think that they're Jewish as they grow up, but the reality is that they want to get married, and other people, it creates problems. So you have to make sure that we're careful with it. So it has to be a process. How long is the process? Depending on you, depending on your sponsoring rabbi, depending on the Beit Din, and so on and so forth. But there has to be a formal process where you are guided more or less to make sure that it's an authentic conversion. How long it takes, again, depends on different variables. But it should definitely not be overnight, like was implied, if you will. This overnight rabbi/convert didn't like this so much. So I say, listen, they're ripping everybody off. They changed the Torah. They're charging for conversions. Conversions should be free because I said it should be free. It doesn't need to go to the Beit Din. It could be to me and my couple of friends, and we're going to send you to the beach, and everyone can convert. And what does this turn into? Christianity. That's what it is. Why? You see this guy's videos, and he shows you a bunch of Christians going to the beach without a clue of what Judaism is. Not a single one of them has an inclination of what Judaism really is. Nothing. Why? All they know is what they heard this guy say in a video. That's it. They have no concept of what a community is. They have no concept of what a Beit Din is. They have no concept of what the sages are. Why? Because they're being taught by this guy to constantly disrespect the sages by comparing themselves to the sages. And every video says, yeah, the Rambam said it, but I don't think the Rambam's right here. And this thing was only said by the Achronim. It's not really the time before the Tanaim. So we don't really have to listen to Abaye. Yeah, but Abaye is in almost every page in the Gemara. Yeah, but he's only an Amora. He's only an Amora. Which the Gemara says resurrected dead, but no, he's only. Why? Because this guy doesn't know anything. He decides he's only. So all of his students, what's happening? He claims that he has converted, to his fake new religion that he's creating, 1,000 people. So what does that mean, Rabotai? We have 1,000 more Erev Rav. That's what we have. I would be astonished if there's a single real convert among them. Why? When the foundation is rotten, it is very hard to get a delicious fruit. Very hard. Could be. I hope there is. For the sake of Am Yisrael. But the reality is, Rabotai, this is what happens when people want something new. Now what transpires as a result of this disaster? You have 1,000 new Erev Rav and more being created every month, because he has this new thing every month. On top of that, heresy becomes something that becomes standard among him and his students, supporters, and so on. Furthermore, the disaster hasn't even begun yet. Why? This is still first generation. Now what's going to happen? These people that converted on the beach like a Christian, and are being taught to disrespect the sages like Christians, guess what? Some of them may have kids one day. And those kids are going to grow up thinking they're Jewish. Their own version of Judaism, but Judaism nonetheless. And they may meet a Rivka, a Rachel, a Chana, that's a real Jew. And they're going to want to marry this Chana, or Rachel, or so on. And guess what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, she's Jewish, he's not. And one day, because they're probably going to go to this guy to wed them also, because the Arab love stays, among each other. But one day, Rachel and this other guy that thinks she's Jewish but he's really not, they're going to have little puppies. They're going to have little birds coming out one day, right? And those little birds are going to want to get closer to the roots. Where they want to go? They want to go to Israel. They want to go to Eretz Israel. And they go to arrive to Eretz Israel, and they grow up, and they want to get married. And what do they want to marry? They want to marry a Jew from Israel, right? I can't get what? Not only I want to get a from birth Jew, I want to get somebody that's authentic, from the source. I want it to be like Moshe Rabbeinu's grandson. Okay, so Moshe Rabbeinu's grandson comes and he said, okay, yeah, well, you're nice, you're good looking, everything's good. Okay, where'd you come from? Oh, I came from here, I came from this. Okay, fine, let's get married. Okay, listen, last minute before, the family's just met and everything, the rabbi, I don't know, this rabbi's crazy. His name is, I don't know, this guy from Florida, he's crazy. But he's asking to see the conversion paperwork. I don't know why, but you're already a second generation convert, right? Yeah, but he's asking to see the conversion of your mother or your grandmother. Can you show it to us? Yeah, sure, we'll get it. Okay, we'll get back to you. Oh, email, in those days, probably your future is going to be like, scanning with your eyes or something. Anyway, show the paperwork. And the rabbi's going to open it. Okay. I'm sorry, son, she's a Goya. You can't marry her. I'm sorry, my dear, he's a goy. You're not allowed to marry him. What do you mean they converted? This is not a valid conversion. It was done on the beach, like a Christian. And their grandparents don't even know what kashrut is. They're Karaites. They're heretics. They still believe in Yoshke. They still have a Slav in their house. But they watch YouTube. And you know what's going to happen? Those two poor kids that have nothing to do with the original heresy are going to suffer the most. Why? Because he already, by the time he decided I want to marry her, he thought she was Jewish. She, by the time she wanted to marry him, everybody thought she was Jewish. So more or less, they already were planning the future together to find out now that no, one of them is not Jewish. And now, of course, the families are not going to accept it. One of the families says, no, listen. No, you're not going to marry this. You're not going to marry that one. You're going to and guess what? Everybody's going to hate each other. And those kids are going to hate those parents for the rest of their lives. Why did you do this to me? Why did you convert on some beach by some faker and not go according to the sages of the day that said, go to a recognized Bet Din that has real Dayanim, real Chachamim, with a real process that follows what the opinion of the day is, and not the opinion of YouTube. Why did you do it? Why? Because you wanted to save a few $1,000s? Because you wanted to save a few months? Who said you were ready in a few months? Maybe you needed to go through a few years. And maybe you would have decided not to be a Jew. Maybe you'd have decided that you want to be a Jew, but even a better version of it. Who's to say that you had to expedite the process? Who's to say that you had to cheat? The sages of the day said that's the process. Whether you agree or disagree with it doesn't matter. If you want to be a Jew, you have to stick to the system at place. Agree or disagree is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Can it be done better? Surely we're all Monday morning quarterbacks and we can say this could be better, that could be better, this could be better, that could be better. All of us could do it. Every system can improve. But this is what we have. This is what we stick to. Why? Chadash asur min Torah. New is forbidden by the Torah. It's forbidden by Torah. And you say, yeah, but isn't the current system technically new to the Shulchan Aruch? Yes, but this is an approved new. Why is it an approved new? Because this new is not new out of some new person's innovation. This is the sages of the day realize the dangers of the day for the flock that's called Am Yisrael, and are trying to preserve it by putting these protective measures. So we don't have a bunch of goyim that pretend like they're Jews, and a bunch of Jews that don't know the difference between them and the goyim. This is what we have a system for. You can't just decide, I'm going to go against the system, and I'm going to create a new system, because that destroys everything. In the conversion world, Rabotai Karim, it's happening because of fakers on both sides. Sometimes it's a fake rabbi. Sometimes it's a fake student. Sometimes the student cares less about Judaism, but he cares about what people think. So he says to his non-Jewish girlfriend, listen, pretend to the rabbi that you're going to keep everything. Every time we show up at the Beit Din, you wear the longest dress you can possibly find. And just pass the test so we can make my parents happy. Pass the test so we could get everything then. Say, as soon as you're married, we're going to go to Cancun. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to go hang out. Yeah, what if the rabbi finds out? Don't worry, I took care of the rabbi. Gave him a nice check. He's not going to say nothing. I gave him a nice $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. With that kind of money, the rabbi all of a sudden forgot how to speak. And what do you think? It's not happening? Countless stories we have of this. Of people paying off some faker in Russia, in California, in different places around the world. Somebody writes him a check for 10, 20, 30, 50, even in some case $100,000. The second after conversion, they're already eating pork. Meaning no interest whatsoever in Judaism. But they're willing to get this certificate so he can make the grandmother happy, or the neighbors happy, or somebody, to look good. Unfortunately, sometimes it's a student. Sometimes it's the rabbi. Sometimes it's a businessman that calls himself a rabbi. Where he tells you, listen, what do you want to convert? Okay, $20,000, $15,000, $10,000. Okay, what about my desire to be a Jew? Yeah, that's fine. With the money comes the interest. As long as you have the money, I know you want to do it. If you don't have the money, you probably don't want to be a Jew bad enough. Now what? Should it be done free? No, it can't be done free. Why? People have to make a living. People have to eat. Just like your lawyer needs to eat, your doctor needs to eat, your grocery store needs to, everybody needs to eat. So it can't be free, but it can't be an exorbitant amount of money. It needs to be within reason. The point being is, money is not a motivator to convert people or not convert people, to convert or not to convert. But needless to say, people need to understand that there has to be dues paid. Not just money. Time, effort, sacrifice. All of that has to take place in order for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to accept you. Now you can say, what do you mean? It's not HaShem that's doing it, it's you. Oh, so you're kofel too. You don't think that HaShem is the one that's delaying your conversion? You think it's the rabbi that's delaying it? Oh, so you're a heretic also. You definitely shouldn't convert.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new Be'ezrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app, full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the Shiurim that we do, myself, Rav Ephraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Kiruv and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Kol tu b'chava tzlacha.